Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's debate. The United States of America, often celebrated as the land of liberty and democracy, is standing at a crossroad once again. The issues unfolding today go beyond simple politics. They question the very foundation of institutions, freedoms, and the balance of power in the world's most powerful democracy. Let's begin with the storm around public health and political influence. Just days ago, the director of the Centers for Disease Control was removed, and senior scientists resigned in protest. Critics are asking, is America's public health system being politicized? Supporters of the administration argue that elected leaders have the right to shape institutions according to the people's mandate. But here lies the dilemma. Should science and medicine, which are meant to save lives, be at the mercy of political agendas? Or is this intervention necessary to make these agencies more accountable? The second flashpoint is the independence of America's economic institutions. The Federal Reserve, long considered a pillar of financial stability, is now under direct political pressure. Lawsuits, dismissals, and even threats are making economists question whether the Fed can remain free from partisan influence. On one side, the argument is simple. Elected leaders must control the economy because they answer to the people. On the other side, critics warn that once political control creeps into monetary policy, inflation, markets, and even global investor trust could collapse. Should the White House dictate the Fed, or should the Fed remain an independent guardian of financial order? And then, of course, comes the issue of media freedom. Reports suggest that new restrictions are being considered on journalists and educational exchange visas. For many, this sounds like an attempt to silence criticism and limit outside voices. Defenders of these policies argue that tighter controls are necessary for national security. But the question echoes loudly. Is national security being used as a shield to weaken free press? Or is free press being misused to undermine national unity? Meanwhile, the clock is ticking toward a possible government shutdown. Once again, Democrats and Republicans are locked in a familiar battle of budget negotiations. Government workers fear delayed paychecks, families fear disruption of essential services, and the world watches as the United States toys with the possibility of halting its own operations. Are shutdowns a symptom of healthy democracy where debate thrives, or are they a dangerous sign of political dysfunction that weakens America's credibility? On the international stage, the president's strategy has raised eyebrows. From deploying naval forces near Venezuela to making strong statements against rivals, America is showing its muscle. Supporters claim this is gunboat diplomacy at its finest, projecting power to protect national interests. Critics, however, warn that such aggressive posturing could drag America into unnecessary conflicts. The question is this strength or is it provocation? And perhaps the most controversial move of all, the president's order to criminalize flag burning. For decades, courts have upheld that even the burning of the American flag falls under freedom of speech. It is offensive, yes, but it is also a constitutional right. Now, this order challenges that very principle. The debate is fiery. Should national symbols be placed above free expression, or is freedom of speech sacred, even when it offends the nation itself? So here we are, viewers, standing in the middle of a storm. Public health versus political control. Independence of courts and financial systems versus executive power. Media freedom versus national security. Shutdown threats versus political bargaining. Global muscle versus diplomatic risks. And finally, free expression versus patriotic duty. Each of these debates is not just about policy, it's about identity. What kind of nation America wants to be? A country where institutions operate independently, or where elected leaders dominate every sphere? A country where the press speaks freely, or where silence is imposed for unity? A country that tolerates dissent, even flag burning, or one that criminalizes it for the sake of national honor? The answers will shape not just the United States, but the future of democracy worldwide. Because when America changes its rules, the ripple spreads across the globe. Allies watch closely, rivals take notes, and ordinary citizens, whether in Washington, New York, or Los Angeles, wonder, Are we safeguarding liberty or are we losing it piece by piece? Tonight I leave you with this question. In the struggle between power and principle, which side will America choose?